Alright, so today is August 23rd, 2020. Wanted to go over some news articles with you that were in my paper not so long ago. I wanted to point out the hypocrisy of what's going on right here in Ohio and how we are now in the stages for what they've been doing for months out west, up north in New York and Chicago and Detroit and all these other places. But it's now finally hitting Ohio, and it's hitting it hard. And basically what I did was I scanned some articles from the newspaper here recently into my computer. And it starts off, I wanted to kind of focus here. These were earlier this month. Most of these articles come from August 7th and 8th. There's a few from yesterday. But I wanted to kind of point out how they kind of sow some of these seeds in our minds about what's really happening in, according to them, but how I see it objectively. So they start off by saying that the economy started this year strong. Things began to look less optimistic for job seekers as the coronavirus crisis gained momentum. Job postings like ZipRecruiter's online unemployment marketplace were still on the rise until February 17. Since then, we have seen a 14% overall decrease. But it just goes on to cite facts, figures, and percentages about what jobs are in demand and what have you. And on that note about ZipRecruiter, I notice so many people are getting jobs through them now. It's like they're becoming the Amazon of the recruitment process for finding jobs for people. It's really depressing. So this was August 7th. The next day, they put this article out. I'll be able to rotate it. At first glance, the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services jobs report for July shows the state took another big step in the comeback from the coronavirus clobbering. The unemployment rate tumbled 8.9% from 11% in June, and the number of unemployment workers fell by 133,000. Oh my God. But anyway, I don't need to read all this garbage to you, but I'll be talking about these articles later down below. But they're talking about how these numbers drop. Okay, all right, just keep these numbers in your head, okay, and compare it to the first thing I just showed you. Now, next day, this is August. What is this? 8th, I believe it is. I believe that's what it was. Ohio sifts jobless claims. Nearly 30% have been denied since March. More than 21,000 Ohioans filed for the first unemployment benefits last week, but many of those applicants won't get checks. Of the 1.6 million Ohio workers who have sought unemployment help since the coronavirus pandemic started clobbering the economy. There they go with that word again. The economy March, blah, 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 have been denied, according to, over 400,000. If we're to believe this number, okay, which I want to say, with the number being that high, I'll actually take the people side on that. But they're saying before, jobless rate drops in July. There's jobs that are trending, but jobless claims. 400,000 people have been denied jobless claims. Department officials say the denial rate approaching 30% is consistent with many pandemic figures. Many of the 1.6 million claims are still being processed. Applicants have been turned down for several reasons, including failure to verify their identities, reporting outside income. And, that part right there is BS. They're going to say stuff like that just because they probably can't prove their income. It's like, how do you prove that you don't have income other than you don't have income? I mean, if you don't even have a bank account, how are you supposed to prove that? God. Most common reason to denial is meet monetary standards, at least 20 weeks of full earnings of at least $269. Okay, wait. So 20 weeks of full employment and earnings of at least $269 a week. So for you to get any unemployment at all, I think that's what that's saying is you have to make less than $269 a week. Something like that. That's pathetic, even for Ohio. I mean, we're not as bad it's California. I mean, we're still under $9 for the minimum wage, which really shot up in the last couple of years, by the way. But we're nowhere close to those $15 minimum wage states out west or New York or whatever, wherever they are. But this is really pathetic take-home pay. It's just like, how do you not qualify for something like that when you're below the poverty level? I still can't get this. Let's see. But anyway, it goes on to say the number of workers seeking unemployment assistance rose last week, both nationally and in Ohio, after several weeks of decline, illustrating that employers are still slashing jobs as the pandemic enters its 6th month. And that right there should tell you something. Started out as 15 days of slow spread. Then 30 days of slow spread. Here we are, 6 frickin' months into this. When's this gonna end? If it doesn't end right at the elections, guys, it's not gonna. Alright, it's not gonna. So, these are signs of things getting worse and worse and worse. I don't know what to tell people who aren't listening at this point. I mean, if this is happening in Ohio, the Rust Belt, the state where, like, nothing happens, I live out in Summit County, and I wouldn't say it's a nowheresville place, but a lot does not happen here. And here this crap is happening here, This used to be one of the more prosperous places to be. Even 10 years ago when all those other places, like California, Washington, and Oregon were being destroyed, economically, you could still come to states like Ohio and be fairly okay. But now, and this reminds me of 1930s style Depression-era pictures. Pretty soon one guy is going to be turning into that long line. You remember those pictures from the 30s? Where those guys are in those long lines, waiting outside all day long just for work? Yeah, I can see that happening again. Okay, same day. Last-ditch virus aid talks collapse with no new help for jobless. You look at these lizard creatures' faces, they're all happy. Leader blah blah blah, accompanied by blah blah blah, speak to members of media, Treasury Secretary, as they continue to negotiate a relief package on Capitol Hill in Washington. And they've been going at this forever and ever, and it's been perpetual. It's like, we've already had one. We're supposed to get a second one, I think. I think mine, I don't know. I can't even keep up with it anymore, to be really, really honest with you. But last-ditch effort by Democrats to revive collapsing Capitol Hill, talks and vital COVID-19 hardship for millions of people who are losing enhanced jobless benefits and further damage for an economy pummeled by still raging. And they put that in your face while they're doing that. Do you know anybody who's sick? I don't. Our hospitals, there's still nobody in our hospitals. Nobody has it. I don't know anybody who knows anybody who has it. Anyway, changing gears. Do they want to say anything about the jobless claims? But, I guess in essence what they're saying is, everything's fine, everything's fine. Oh, things are looking good. Oh, wait, no, they're not. Now we need... so this is the summary. Everything's fine. But wait, no, it isn't. Because we're not giving people their money for their jobless claims. Oh, and by the way, people who believed that the government was going to take care of them are still waiting for their money. The end. If you got all that, then you got the current situation of Ohio. Okay, on to the next topic. Sanitize hands. This was also August 7th. It goes over how to deal with keeping yourself clean and safe. Wash your hands with soap and water. Do's and don'ts of disinfecting with bleach. Hand sanitizer. This is the part where I really wanted to point out because it's relevant to the next article. Clean your hands with hand sanitizer when you don't have the opportunity for a full wash. Use sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Use benzoyl bulbyl chloride if nothing else is available. Person pox eyes are likely in short supply in your area due to the concern. Blah, 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 blah. They go on to say, sanitize this, sanitize that, caring for people at home, yada yada yada. All right, so they put the seed in your head the day before, and then of course next day, that's not the one I wanted. Okay. People having seizures, dying after drinking hand sanitizer. People are getting sick and dying after drinking hand sanitizer. The Center for Disease Control said that our 4 people have died. Nearly a dozen others have suffered health complications after swallowing alcohol-based hand sanitizers in recent months. For May through June 30, there were 15 cases of methanol poisoning reported in air, blah, 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 blah. The agency said. The CDC said contain ethanol and isopropanol as an active ingredients, but some products imported from other countries contain methanol, which is not an acceptable ingredient. And it goes on to say who was at risk. But they're getting people to use this stuff on themselves. Make sure you have it. Make sure you use it on yourselves. Oh, by the way, don't drink it. I think this goes hand in hand with that whole Trump and his inject disinfectant comment. I think they want to keep that one alive. I don't know. I think that might be part of that psyops, but I have a lot of trouble believing that anybody would down hand sanitizer. Of course, then again, the Tide Pods people. Let's not forget that. So, yeah, there's that. But that is where I'm at on that. This next one is something I'm going to remind everybody of. I'm going to keep it in their minds for as long as I can. I'm going to try to touch on this as much as I can. I may even re-upload this till the end of time, until this SOB is out of office. Alright? On Friday, August 7th, DeWine tests positive, feels fine. Governor cancels Ohio appearance with Trump, will still run state while quarantined at home. DeWine said Thursday that his positive coronavirus test was a big surprise. He feels fine, and he'll continue to lead the state while quarantined for the next 2 weeks. DeWine took a COVID-19 test as part of the protocol to greet President Donald Trump on the tarmac at blah blah blah, and toured at the blah whirlpool pant. 73-year-old DeWine, who has asthma since his teen years, had no symptoms of the disease before his test. I feel fine. I have headache, DeWine told reporters. I get a lot of headaches throughout my life, so a headache isn't anything unusual. DeWine received the positive result while in the car. He returned to Columbus, where he, firstly, blah blah, tested for the virus. A very good friend of mine just tested positive, Trump said in Cleveland after learning about DeWine's test. We want to wish him best. If this doesn't tell you that they're all in bed together, I don't know what does. His friend. This MRFer is his friend. I can't trust Trump, alright, because he trusts this guy. This guy locked us down. This guy caused small businesses to close permanently. This guy is nobody's friend. He's the friend of profiteers. Maybe I could walk that, yeah, I could walk that back to he's the friend of profiteers. But he's no average person friend. No, he's not. This guy's an SOB, okay? Why am I showing you this? This reason. Why did DeWine test positive and negative the same day? After this came out, I thought it was an Onion article. I could not believe my eyes, and I thought that this whole narrative would finally be over, and DeWine would finally come clean, and this shit would be over. He would remove the mask mandate and just say, okay, enough is enough. I'm tired of deceiving you. But no, instead, they fuck with our heads some more. Ohio Governor DeWine mixed coronavirus test makes me confused. How could someone test positive and negative within the same day? None of the diagnostic coronavirus tests on the market are 100% accurate, said the CDC. And others caution, but some are more reliable than others. This story shows how far we still have to go in developing quick and accurate tests that aren't prone to causing confusion by false positives and false negatives. So which is which, guys? Is that a false positive or is that a false negative? See, this is the thing. You could test positive and probably just not have it. And I think that's what's happening most of the time because of the whole supposed mortality rate of 0.3% to 0.6%, depending on where you are in the country. And even that number is probably a lie. Even that number is probably overinflated, as they are counting COVID deaths as